So that has happened.
Perfect.
Hey, all right.
Woohoo!
I'm kicking this over to Heather Adams.
Let's do it. All right. Well, we're here to talk about first gen transfer and adult learner narratives and representation. So I figured we could start off with a little icebreaker. If you know me well, you know I like icebreakers. Sorry, everybody. Uh, but in the chat, I put a little a prompt. I thought it'd be fun to chat about one story, film, book, something in the media pop culture that shaped how you saw yourself.
At all? Ever? Anytime?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking childhood, early when hi, Amber, when you're kind of first, when you're finding yourself, and you're developing, there's those books or those movies that are instrumental and kind of us seeing ourselves for the first time in something represented or understanding who we are because we're mirrored. Yeah, that's sort of what
I
I'm
got it.
thinking. Do you have an idea?
I
Do you
got
want to start
one.
us off?
I will
Okay.
start us off. Hey everyone, I'm Latanya Reese Miles, one of the founders of My Tribe Media. I will say 100% Little House on the Prairie. I just knew the books.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. I didn't know I could love you more, LTA. And now that's my book. I love this. This is
Shut
so, it's like,
up.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
go tell it. I want to know why. What? Tell
Oh,
me.
look, I stole Amber's as well. Okay, we're gonna have to do a thing. We're gonna have to
Okay.
do a thing.
We need a
I
conversation on Little House on the Prairie.
I
Yeah.
listen, I was a little pioneer. In my mind, I was a pioneer out there with Ma and Pa, and you know how I feel about your Pa, Heather. I just thought I really gravitated towards spunky heroines and like being out there and discovering new things. I remember her describing like the toys that Pa made for her and all of that. There's a whole other conversation to be had later when I discovered that like the racism in the book, but little me, little me didn't know that initially. So how about you, Heather?
Oh my goodness. I love that. Yeah. No, I think similar in the sense that that kind of doggedness, that pioneer aspect, that's sort of always part of my childhood and who I was young. My dad called me half pint, so that was like, but also I was sort of the other books, Harriet the Spy, um, Anna Green Gables. I was like I was a tomboy. I like liked the woods, and I grew up in the rural Maine, and my dad was from the Midwest and told me stories. So there were all these themes that just seemed so connected to the Laura Ingalls Wilder, world, or the world of like Anne of Green Gables, that imaginative thing where you're that kid who's always, you know, imagining some crazy adventure in your head, and everyone else is like, that's not what I see. And you're like, well, how can you not see it? Like, look at my brother, who's 7 years younger than me. He still remember. He said, "Yeah, we used to create Narnia in our backyard. You would like
Yeah.
describe the entire thing, and I thought it was real." And he's like 5 or 4 or whatever. So yeah, so I think it was that spirit. I also watched the show, and I'm a big crier, and the show is like a fifth five tissue box show. Like every single time you watch that show, you because it's like death and destruction and racism and horrible. And it's bad. It's like heartbreaking. I don't remember
Yeah,
the books being they were rough, but the show I remember being rough.
really leaned
So
in. Well, that's
yeah,
definitely resonating in the chat.
let's see that.
So with Amber and then Cynthia, shocker says Hermione Granger from Harry Potter.
I
And
get
also
that.
Beauty from Beauty and the Beast. That's awesome. And Amber wants to also acknowledge Anne of Green Gables.
Mm,
I don't think, honestly, y'all, I don't think I read that one. Do I
I
need to read that, Amber?
You need to read it, but like
Okay.
when PBS way back in the day had that series on TV, like I was like, what is sarsaparilla? Like I gotta have it. Also, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I need to find my Gilbert Blythe. You know what I mean? Like I was like
Damn it.
hell bent on getting in a gazebo and like being with my Gilbert Blythe. You know what I mean? So
I'm
what you said
taking
about
notes.
right? Like what you said about Anna Green Gables, but also like we watched so much Little House on the Prairie when I was a child that my sister called this girl who was mean, a Nellie Olson. So to see how embedded in both of those like worlds we were as kids, and I got to shout out my mom for that. One more show because I'm a PBS kid. I'll say is
Yeah.
Reading Rainbow to me from
Oh,
childhood and my love of reading and like wanting to read 100 books over the summer to get that Pizza Hut, certificate. Like Reading Rainbow was absolutely quintessential to the formation of my identity and who I was. And then because my dad was a Trekkie, like, seeing LeVar Burton both on Reading Rainbow and on Star Trek, like in the evenings, was just like,
must have blown your mind. I love that.
Oh,
yes.
well, thank you for that, everyone. Welcome to the world of My Tribe Media. This is what we talk about all
All
the
day long.
time. Yeah, exactly. Are you able to see my slides? Awesome. What we're going to do today is give folks um, walking you through the journey of how Heather and I got to this place. It has been years, years in the making, but we're super excited today to preview for you my tribe, walk you through, share the new website, and then also talk to you about what we've got planned for the rest of 2025, and then how folks can get involved. So, I'm really, really excited to say that My Tribe Media is now the premier program under the Addie Health Foundation, which is a nonprofit that I oversee. And Addie Health is the company is focused on mental health and wellness, particularly for health deserts and particularly for underrepresented communities. That's the company side. So the company actually provides clinicians in spaces, community spaces in particular. But what about the work of the foundation? So I want to share with you three main areas. And again, you may have some interest in some of these things. But the first one is, oh, well, hold on, sorry. Just giving you this is a more overview of the foundation and overall the goal that we focus on. So let me now walk you through three of our primary areas. The first is student stability and wellness, and that is both in K through 12 and higher ed spaces. By student mobility, we talk about in two different ways, both how students actually get to school, but especially on public transportation, and then also when students move schools, like in and out of schools. That's also known as student mobility. We know that people of color, foster youth, military connected families, and housing insecure students are more likely to experience student mobility. And we also know that that has an impact on not only academic performance, but mental health. So one of our goals for the Addie Health Foundation is to increase awareness and start looking at some possible solutions. So just so you know about that. Oh my goodness. I think many of us here would also agree and acknowledge that libraries are such an important resource. And we are at the foundation looking at ways to partner and connect with libraries and actually place clinicians in these spaces. And would be at no charge to either the library or the users or patrons themselves. So through Medi-Cal, Medicaid, and other grants, we are able to provide clinicians physically in these spaces. And then lastly, the foundation focuses on the role of media and media as a tool for preventive care and public education. And sometimes media gets a bad rep, sometimes deservedly, but there's also, we would argue, a lot of hope and possibility, especially when we look at counter stories and the types of populations that we are focusing on. All right, with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and bring Heather into this conversation so that Heather can talk more about how My Tribe Media specifically came to be.
Yay, thank you, LT. Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Adams. If I haven't met you, let's connect, please, on LinkedIn and everywhere. I love all things transfer. I'm not sure if that's evident or not. I don't really carry it on my sleeve or on my backdrop or anything, so no one really knows. It's something I like. Yeah, so community college transfer just transformed my life, changed my life. It's where I found my professional purpose, and my home and my tribe. And I met LT early on, like a decade plus ago at UCLA. I walked into LT's office, I think the first day she started at UCLA. And I think it was a 3 hour meeting. I think the moment I sat down, we were like, and with the first gen initiatives that she was pioneering, like Laura Ingalls Wilder, but at UCLA, and the transfer center and transfer culture, inclusive culture that I was trying to cultivate at UCLA. And there were so many overlaps. There were so many things that we both wanted to do and our communities needed, and intersections of the communities, right? And so this was our sort of instigation, like our origin story of how we sort of started the conversation.
Can I just
Um, I,
say one thing?
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
I hadn't even created first gen yet. I was doing
you
first
hadn't.
years and you
That's
were doing
right.
transfers. So you were really a big part of those conversations of developing the first gen stuff, specifically first gen to college.
That's I've
It's
forgotten it was
true.
that it was yeah, you hadn't even and the transfer center wasn't existing yet at UCLA. We built that, and then
Oh my
so that
gosh.
makes actually a lot more sense of how we were really connecting commuter, adult learner. We did so many events together in those early days of First to Go and the transfer center. Cynthia, you probably remember that too. You were at those commuter breakfasts and those, yeah.
Mhm.
And so the conversation started so organically from our own personal experiences as a transfer. LT is also a transfer. I was an adult learner, went back to school at 37. So just really relevant and important communities to us and to our development. And then as we went through and became great friends, we just kept talking about it and kept having events sort of like this, where we would just throw out a question about, hey, what's your first gen adult learner story, or what book resonated with you, what film about this a transfer journey influenced you in a positive or a negative way, right? We're really kind of exploring what these stories and these narratives look like in media and pop culture, and looking for those nuanced, authentic portrayals that really celebrate all versions of the story, or stories, and kind of expand whose stories get told and how they get told and who gets to tell them, and amplify those narratives in a way that's really making them visible and valued and mobile, and the norm, really, because the norm is that story, that like first gen story, went to Harvard, went to a private school, like had or on television, it's maybe the show Community, which a lot of people love. It's about community college, but even the show Community, which has an an affection for community college, still it reiterates all of the kind of negative portrayals, or sort of the, oh, community colleges where folks go when they can't get in other places, or it's not real college. It's still perpetuated some of those kind of stereotypes that really highlight the stigma and the bias and just untruths, right? And just misinformation. So that's where we really kind of came together, LT and I, and started to create a community of folks that wanted to talk about their stories, find their tribe, find others who they could mentor or be mentored by, regardless of what field, really. I mean, we started in higher ed, but what was really interesting is as we kept the conversation going, we were talking to authors and website designers and filmmakers, and realizing that there was really a need for connection, for supporting sort of this new cultural movement where this representation fueled opportunity, and provided folks a space and a place and the people to connect with on this topic. And so our formalization of My Tribe Media happened a few years, 2020, probably during the when we were talking a lot during the pandemic, as a lot of things have blossomed from the pandemic in that way creatively. And once we found our name, My Tribe Media, we just really were, you couldn't stop us from that point on. It was like, we really need to make this happen. We've been talking to filmmakers and authors and sort of consulting a little bit, where we're talking to folks who maybe didn't have a transfer first gen or adult learner narrative and wanted to know more about it and were writing about it, but wanted to find ways to portray it really authentically or think about it in new ways. And so that just started us really growing and expanding and wanting to reach out more to other communities and to other um, uh, industries and fields that are doing this work, but don't necessarily have this theme of spotlighting the intersections of these communities. And so our massive goal is to be the GLAD for first gen transfer and adult learners, right? You hear the word GLAD, you hear the acronym GLAD, and you immediately know what that stands for, what that is. And I think My Tribe Media can be that for transfer first gen and adult learner narratives, stories. How are we represented in media, pop culture? How are we nurturing artists and creators who are telling those stories? How are we spotlighting and amplifying those stories? And how are we shifting the narrative nationally and globally about those stories? So that's where we are now. We do a lot of different things, and we'll kind of go into that when we show the website. But actually, we have a board member here. And Cynthia, I don't know, I'm sorry to call you out, but I'd love to have you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your perspective as one of the advisory board members for My Tribe Media.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Alvarez. I am the founding chair of the advisory board for My Tribe Media. It's great to have all of you here. For me, when Heather and when LT gave me the call and asked me to be part of this, one, I couldn't be more honored, but two, I think it's always exciting to join a group of people who are interested and who are ready to take action in supporting these narratives, in doing what we can in the spaces where we reside to highlight the stories and the experiences and what the future of first gen experiences could be. So that's kind of where I sit. It's exciting to support Heather and LT in this moment as everything's kind of coming out to public. I won't say it's starting because by no means is it just starting. These two amazing women have been doing this work for a very long time, but now it's just taking a new form. And I'm very excited to support these efforts moving forward.
Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Cynthia is the founding chair. We're super excited to have her. And I also see that Dr. Martha Enciso is here. So I don't know if Martha, you're able to unmute yourself to say hello. But Martha has been along for the ride and the journey. And right now her title is content strategist, but it's so much more than that. But Martha, are you able to unmute yourself and say hello?
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say I'm so excited about My Tribe Media and everything that's going on. Sorry about the noise behind me. I'm at
We don't hear it. Don't worry about it.
okay. But yeah, I just want to say I'm so excited to see it come to life. And like was mentioned before, it's not that this is new. It's been going for years. Now there's just a letting the world know if they don't already know, which they should have known, but it's exciting to see it happen. So kudos to you both and looking forward to what's next.
Thank you, Martha. All right, Heather, are we ready to reveal the website?
Uh, yes, I think so. If you want to share your screen, great, or I can, whatever
I
is
can
most
do it.
comfortable.
Just
Let's do it.
I will share my
I will
screen
narrate.
and you will narrate.
I will narrate. This is a beautiful site
Here it
that was,
is.
yay, thank you, that we developed with an incredibly talented web designer.
Mel, we love
Mel, woo,
Mel.
Mel, we love you.
Mm.
Who was also instrumental in early days, a lot of our early work and some of the videos and materials we've developed on first gen and career changes and career shifts. So Mel, big shout out to you. So here's our website. We're part of Addy Health, as you can see there, but we have our own My Tribe Media site that's part of their website. You can see there's if you scroll down, sort of what we do, and we try to split this into three basic pillars that it covers a lot of ground. I mean, the community building, the media engagement, and this professional development, coaching, consulting aspect. But the community building is big. We do this in a variety of different ways. One is just social media outreach. We both have big networks and huge networks in terms of the work that we do, but also we do a lot of events, a lot of social hours when we're at conferences or we're traveling, a lot of transfer think tanks for Transfer Nation, which is an organization I oversee. But we also do what we're calling salons. And what I love about a salon, I don't know if you've heard that term before, but I remember when I first went through it, said salon as though I was supposed to know what it meant. Just like the Ametrius or Ametri professor, emeritus. Someone said that to me the other day, and like I was supposed to know what it meant, and I was like, I don't even know how to say it. So I've since learned. But salon, they're these sort of, traditionally they were these sort of like hoity-toity. It's like we're Dorothy Parker and Hemingway and these authors of another time, white authors of another time, were, sort of would come together to share creative thoughts on different topics, art, writing, music. But they've also been really kind of incubators and generators of communities within the arts and within different areas of the arts. And so we want to kind of turn that on its head a little bit and claim the word and start salons of our own that are intimate like this. Folks who are interested in a topic, interested in an area, like, building a website, for instance, or making a film or writing a memoir, and just getting those folks together. Pros, seasoned folks who are new and never done it but want to, getting them to meet and greet and talk and peer consult and share and connect. And so that's one of the many ways that we've worked on building community. The media engagement and influencing is big. LT, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the areas we've worked here?
Yes. I mean, a lot of this was happening prior to My Tribe Media separately on our different Facebook group pages, like Empowering First Gen and Transfer Nation. Had the opportunity to also present at Comic Con talking about first gens and people and BIPOC students. And we will talk a little bit more about the Catalyst Awards. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really about community building on these other platforms.
Exactly. I love that. And then the professional development and coaching and curriculum building, this really runs the gamut. And we've done this in a lot of different ways, working with new filmmakers who are finding their voice, working with institutions or faculty on how to weave, how to weave in the stories and some of the first gen and transfer adult learner narratives that we're spotlighting, how to put it into the curriculum, how to make that curriculum really rich and engaging for their learners, and just a variety of different ways. If you scroll down, I think you'll see some of the folks that we've worked with or some of the ways in which we've participated and engaged with folks. Well, the Catalyst Awards, which we'll talk about a little bit in more detail, is one such way. But we've also worked with authors on helping them find the narrative a little bit more. That's kind of one of the coaching areas that we've worked in. And how are you telling the first gen story, especially if you aren't a first gen student or a transfer student or adult learner? And then you can also see a spotlight of a lot of our events that we've done over the years. So pretty cool website. Also, you can find our board there, as well as us if you're learning who we are and you want to know a little bit about us. We've got our bios and LinkedIn's connected there. And I
Yay.
think that's about it. There's a Let's Collaborate button. So if you want to find us, you can find us on there. Or if you want to send our website to others, you are welcome to.
Yeah,
And
I'll let you put that in the chat, the
I'm
link to
gonna
the
do it.
website, and then I'll just walk folks through some of the things we have coming up next. And just a reminder, we will send this video to folks. Oops, slideshow, not share. Um, we will send this video out after this. All right, so here's what we've got coming up. Actually, Heather, I'm going to go back first. Let's talk because this just happened. Transfer Student
Mm-hmm.
Week.
Woo! Yeah, I can't believe I didn't even like mention this because it just happened. I'm actually recovering from it. In fact, this morning I had to take down all my backdrops. And so Transfer Student Week, if you don't know about it, third week of every October was started by the National Institute for the Study of Transfer Students. It's a fabulous, fun week. It's my favorite week of the year. But I now have a lot of favorite weeks because there's First Gen Week, there's Adult Learner, Non-Traditional Student Week, there's April is community college month, so we're really starting to kind of generate a lot of opportunity to celebrate transfer, first gen, and adult learner narratives. So in 2025, we really had a lot of opportunity to partner with a lot of different folks, and I want to actually look at the narratives on the right and give a shout out to one of our My Tribe Media interns, Max,
Oh,
who
Max, we love
researched
Max.
Max. I mean, come on, like just a moment for Max because he dug in and, traditionally the Catalyst Awards were focused on first gen stories and narratives. And now we're, expanding that to
Yeah.
community college transfer, college and transfer in general, and adult learners. And it's hard to find those narratives, just telling you. So if you know of any, let us know. But in 2025, Max was looking at kind of what's happening right now in that area. And these are six of the narratives that he found. And we were able to spotlight that for Transfer Week. And then also we partner with Transfer Nation a lot. I also put that link in the chat for you, as well as First Gen and Juice, both social media platforms, and really celebrate transfer kind of nationally, well, globally, really, doing things like creating a transfer soundtrack or shouting out your favorite community college or, somebody who helped you along your way. So those are a few of the things that initiatives that we've done just most recently in the past week, especially if you go on our sites now, you'll see all of this.
And then here's what's coming up. So, our like as you can hear, we're really focused on narrative and storytelling and amplifying untold stories, and part of that involves a very exciting collaboration with Wikipedia and the Wiki Education organization. So we have our third annual, I cannot believe it, third annual Wikipedia Editathon, where we're going in and editing existing pages of folks who, again, fall under our populations, adult learners, first gen, community college, etc., to amplify the educational journey section of their pages. So these are people whose pages they may be notable, but you may not know. For example, author Terry McMillan was a community college student and a multi-time transfer student and first gen. And so we have volunteer editors who go in for a specific period of time and edit these pages. And so that's going to be the third one coming up in about 2 weeks or so. And then on the right is the Catalyst Awards. This will be year 6 of the Catalyst Awards. Again, it is meant to honor and celebrate first gen storytelling in a number of different genres, including memoir, fiction, film, TV, podcasts, Instagram accounts. We're still taking nominations. That your nominations do have to be specific to 2025. And we are not interested in research or scholarship. We are interested in mass media and popular culture, hence My Tribe Media. So, and we're also looking for volunteer judges. And just a note about that, judges have between November and February in order to make their choices, and judges also get to decide which genres they like to um, evaluate. So lean into your strength. If you know someone, please drop it in the chat, or if you're interested, please let us know.
And being a judge is so much fun. I mean, it's so much fun. You get to you get to choose which area you want to focus on, and you get to. I mean, come on, you get to immerse yourself in these stories and these different ways they're being told. It's the best. It's the best. But also, if you know of narratives, LT knows I'm like always trying to like tell us stuff we haven't heard of. I know we're working on 2025. We're trying to work on the most up-to-date year each year for the actual awards and nominations, but we also keep lists and a reservoir of stories and books, films, etc., that have those themes in them. So do send those our way if you do know them, so we can add them to the repository, even if they aren't for the current year.
And we're super excited. My Tribe Media is also expanded into the publication space. Our first title was my book, Smart Girl, a first gen origin story. And then this is our second title, First Gen and Juice, exploring first gen college student narratives in pop culture and mass media. That is an edited volume by myself and Martha Enciso, with an amazing assortment of writers who are talking specifically about representations of first gens in um, genre in places like K-pop or the Barbie movie or Oppenheimer. That book is coming out imminently sometime this fall. If any of you happen to attend NASPA's Western Regional Conference in a few weeks, we hope that you'll come and listen to this panel that includes Martha, my co-editor, and three of the contributing writers. Also, Martha and I each have contributed an essay to this particular book. And that's another My Tribe Media publication. All right, Heather, bring us home.
All right. So there are so many ways to get involved with My Tri Media. Join the movement. It really is a movement. You're seeing that, we're at conferences. We're all over the nation doing this work and have so many other incredible colleagues who are spreading the word. So there are lots of ways. Obviously, you can tag us, follow us, shout us out on the various social medias. I put all of those links in the chat. If you're not already following us, please do. There are lots of ways to collaborate. You probably have some creative ways that we would never even think of. I mean, we've done joint campaigns. We've had so many different types of partnerships. So shoot us a DM and let us know, like, what are your ideas? We're open, and we would love to partner in any way that you think would be appropriate for your area, your field, your interest, or your organization. You can also nominate or sponsor a Catalyst Award, some part of element of the Catalyst Awards, right? So the Catalyst Awards have a lot of different elements, as you just heard. We've got judges, we've got folks nominating, we've got award ceremonies, so we've got trophies we want to give out, we've got past authors that we interview and that we want to know what's happening and we want to engage with them. So if there's an area that you're really interested in, or you look at the list of nominees from the past and you've got a great idea, or you want to help support our trophies and our red carpet events for the Catalyst Awards, let us know. Also, I talked about salons, events. If you want to host one, if you have an area, you're an author, you're a comedy writer, and you are like, I want to host a salon for comedy writers or for folks who are interested in that, let us know. We will help get the word out. We can help host it. And we can market it for you, or we can just partner and give you some ideas about what good questions might engage the community. And then also, let us know. You're already in our loop, probably because you probably got an email from us inviting you to this invite only open house. However, we will have an ongoing roster and list serve eventually to just keep you up to date on what's happening. And these are just a few ways. I'm sure there are a lot more. So if there are ways you already know you want to partner, pop them in the chat and we will follow up with you.
Great.
That's it. That's what I got. Any last thoughts, LT, things we haven't had a moment to talk about?
No, perhaps I know we're a little over time, but if anyone has any questions for us, happy to answer them right now before you go.
Yeah. We were hoping this time would be nice because it's like West Coast, you're probably having breakfast, right? Or just getting ready for your day. East Coast, I'm actually having my morning coffee, but probably should be eating lunch. So we were hoping it could be like a breakfast, brunch, lunch conversation. So thank you for joining us during this
Yeah,
time.
I appreciate it. Again, we will send out this video and if you think later, like, wow, I know someone who would want to be a part of this, please let us know. Be sure to connect us. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Enjoy
you
your
all.
day.
This was great. We will email you when we have our Laura Ingalls Wilder night. And
You know, I wrote it down.
I
You
know you did. I
know,
did
I
too.
wrote it
I
down.
got it right here. I got it right down. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. This was wonderful. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday.